We stay swishing, 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 swishing. Rise up, stay swishing, 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 swishing. Willing every jumper with a flick of wrist. Never a doubt, a fear of miss. Anyone sleeping on my shots get fits. Cause every shot do nets, do rips. Cards, hearts, darts, rewards, smarts, sharks.
Today, we're going to be discussing a topic not many have mentioned in the past. It is about trade requesting and no trade clause, that kind of thing.
Are we calling this healthy debate?
No, it's just a debate.
All right.
It could be unhealthy, who knows? But we're here with Clamps. Say hello, Clamps.
What's your name? Where are you calling in from?
Hello, my name is Clamps. I'm calling in from the internet.
Okay.
Fair enough. Today we're discussing that. What I wanted to bring up is the fact that Bradley Beal had a no trade clause asked out of the Wizards. Somehow still has a no trade clause. I think in the future that should be completely vanished as soon as he waives it. Just like when you waive a player and someone claims them, you don't have that player anymore. Thoughts?
Clamp, start it.
So, this topic, I could see both sides on this one, right? So, it's a predetermined contract, right? So, if you have no trade protection in this contract prior to waiving it, the contract is still there throughout the entirety of the season, right? Shouldn't the rules to which the contract, abides by should also extend beyond any trade and to the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean...
Come on, debate it.
Are you agreeing with me or disagreeing?
Disagreeing.
So I'm kind of undecided on this one. In one aspect, I think, yes, once they waive it, once it should go away, and that should be that. But there's also the other side that says, it's part of the contract, and the contract lasts the entire season.
All right, so you're neutral.
Wait, so...
At this point, yes.
So you're saying after the season, the no trade clause should be gone, but during the season, it should stay there? Or am I...
Right. If it applies to that season, it should be on the player throughout the entirety of that season.
So, I'll give you an example. Say Beal never requested it out of the Wizards in the first year. What if he requested out in year 3? Does he still have that no trade clause until he doesn't use it or use it?
Logically, yes. Until the end of that contract, yes.
But once he uses it, it's gone. Or are you saying it comes back after that year?
Yes.
You're saying, yes, it comes back?
Yes. And
all right.
My reasoning for that is once you pay a player, once you establish guidelines within a contract, you can't void certain aspects of that contract just because the player wanted to waive his no trade just to go to a certain team.
Combat it. Go.
All right. So here's my take on that. If you don't want to be traded, then why should you be able to request out, and then be able to request out in the future? I'll let Release chime in here.
I'm on the disagreement side. So, I actually think just because he waived his no trade clause to get traded doesn't mean he lose that, because the contract was clearly stated that he has a no trade clause in it. He shouldn't be punished for waiving his no trade clause just because he wants to trade. That doesn't diminish the aspects of the contract. The money doesn't get changed. The years don't get changed. The only thing that changes is where he lives. So keep the no trade clause if it's written in the contract until the contract is up.
Do you want me to go, Clamps, or do you want to...
No, you go ahead. Yeah,
All
that
right.
was pretty much the sentiment that I was echoing.
Yeah, I just think if you want a players league, you go that route. If you want a fairness in a team organization type league, you go with if a player wants off your team, he is not honoring his contract of not being traded. So
Whoa, hold up. Where in the contract does it say anything to do with wanting to be on the team just because he's there at that point where he signs it? Because things change.
Because-
Teams
give
change.
me
They
the
will
mic.
trade you.
Give me this
They will
mic.
trade you
Give
any
me this
second if they
mic.
get tired of you.
rebuttal. He got the contract shortly after requested a trade. He knew what he was doing. This is a players league and it should not be. It should be an organizational league. It should be a franchise league. Clamps, I need your thoughts.
You put me in a tough spot here. Because the players run the league, don't they?
Yes, and that's why they shouldn't run the league, and that's why a lot of stuff is going wrong in the NBA.
So if said player and said player's agent were able to get a no trade clause, I think they should be entitled to it the entire time because they negotiated it. Their salary is based upon whatever conditions are within the contract. So if you're taking a no trade and you negotiate for that, I think you're entitled to it, even if you waive it for one trade within the contract's length.
Okay, really.
Simply stated, no trade clause does not mean he's committing to always being on that team. Just because he waived it doesn't mean that he broke contract.
So I don't know. I'm totally in agreement with myself, and I'm the bystander here. Yeah, I just think I don't want to keep repeating it, but like if you don't want to trade, then why are you requesting a trade?
All right, so no trade clause gives the players the power to select
Why is
where
it a
they're
players'
trading.
league?
Because it is. The no trade clause gives them the power to say no to a team they don't want to go to. It doesn't mean I'm saying I never want to trade.
I get what you guys are saying, but in the future of the league, I don't see how this is beneficial for. Because you see it now with Beal. Someone wants to trade him. He's saying he only wants to go to these teams. Terrible for the organization as Phoenix cannot figure out what to do now. They can't really retool because their bad contract. They can't even try trading because he only wants to go to a couple teams that don't want him. But if that no trade clause was waived, he would already be gone out of Phoenix. Disagree or agree, Clamps?
Agree.
Yeah, he would definitely be off of Phoenix, right? The release.
Now, we cannot fully know what will happen because teams probably still don't want that contract.
I mean, yeah, but there definitely would have been a trade that went down.
I'm not so sure about that.
We'll leave it up to everyone else that views this in comments. Let us know who has the right side of the argument, or if you have your own side.
Is there a right side?
Is there a wrong side? Is there a neutral side? All right.
I still don't get where you were going with that no trade thing, though.
What do you mean? It's obvious.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense to just void something out of a contract just because it happened. He didn't break any rule.
He wanted a trade
Okay?
in a no trade clause contract.
That's not what it means.
I know, but you want to stay with the organization if you get a no trade clause.
No, you want the power to say no.
Okay, yeah, but if you
Lance,
get
chime
traded,
in.
if you get traded, you should be void of Okay, say there's no trade clause and the team says, "All right, we want to send you here," and you say yes. That should void the no trade clause.
So you, so that would basically mean that the no trade clause title can really only be used once during the duration of a contract.
That's what he's saying.
Yes, but he could still be traded, or the player still has the power in the end, even if there is. If it was up to organization and he didn't have a no trade clause, he still has the power because he could say, "I don't want to be in this team," even though there's no trade clause. He could still have some kind of leverage because he wouldn't re-sign there or whatever. He wouldn't be happy there like Butler was in Miami. Like there's still ways around it of getting traded or not traded.
It still gives. You're still missing the point, though. The fact that he signed that and got that in his deal is so he could say no to other deals.
I mean, I get that, and it makes
That's the whole point. It's not to stay on the team. It's to say no to things he doesn't want to go to. Like, say, for example, they tried to trade him to Washington again. Never would happen, but say that was the case, or say it was something else like maybe another bad team such as the Jazz.
I have a question that pertains to this. Should Luca ask for a no trade clause in his next contract? I'll let Clamps decide.
I'm gonna say 100% yes, because my boy Luca, already got done dirty once. So I think that he should really retool his contract and assure that doesn't happen again, and assure that he doesn't get traded into the night.
And he's in his favorite city of his favorite team, so it makes sense that he has the leverage once he gets that no trade clause. And I guarantee he won't be getting traded or wanting to trade because he's where he's at and he loves it there.
Yeah.
I'm going to chime in here. So, I don't think it's necessarily up to Luka to get the no trade clause.
Franchise player.
Yeah, but it's not up to him. So I would say if the team breaks and allows him to have it, he should take it, yes. But I think every player tries to get this no trade clause, but it's not that common. If you notice, there's only 2 players with it.
Or would the Lakers be stuck if LeBron and Luka both have the no trade clause?
Well, LeBron's going to have his contract end pretty soon, and he was probably going to retire. They're not going to be stuck. And I don't even know if he's even going to get offered a no trade clause because, honestly, it doesn't really matter to the Lakers.
Yeah, he's on the brink of retirement. He's only got like maybe I wouldn't say one, but he's got a couple more years, and Luka's their player of the future. So I stand with that. I think Luka needs to lock down that no trade clause.
So if LeBron asks for a no trade clause, doesn't that warrant Luka to have one also, since he's the franchise player now?
Slightly different, because LeBron's on his way out of the league. Doncic is still young.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense, but I feel like Luka would feel some type of way if he doesn't get the same or better treatment by the Lakers as their piece moving forward.
I got a rebuttal for that. Luka hasn't really done what LeBron's done yet, so to get the same or equal treatment doesn't really make any sense to me. First, you have to show that you're going to lead the team to a title. You have to show them that you're going to compete in the playoffs. You have to show them that you're going to show up every day and prove the doubters wrong about his effort levels and the ability to play defense, maybe. He has improved in that field, but some people still doubt.
No, that's a good point. Different situation. If you got this this incoming player hasn't really proved himself with the team yet, and maybe he needs to earn that. And where LeBron's at, I mean, is anybody really going to have the standing that LeBron has with the team? LeBron got his son on this team.
Yeah.
Okay, LeBron got his literal son on this team.
And the coach loves him.
He
Actually,
gets minutes.
And he handpicked the coach.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't realize that it was not as common to have no trade clause in the NBA.
I feel like there's more players with some kind of no trade clause, but not a full one.
No, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, they don't say it until like someone ends up requesting out. But
No, it's common knowledge.
who has more power in a Luka extension, the Lakers or Luka? Like, who has the final say in the extension?
That's a tough one.
Clearly the Lakers. They're the ones
Yeah.
that have to pay the bill, so the Lakers could decide they don't want to keep Luka just like the Mavericks did, especially in today's new cap apron style of CBA. You could also see teams give up on players a lot more now because there's tighter restrictions for going over the cap and going over the aprons, and you have to make quicker decisions on players.
So you're saying Luka isn't safe, so why wouldn't he want a no trade clause?
I didn't say he didn't want it. I'm saying it's not up to him.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the power lies within the Lakers on that one. No, Luka's, he's done what? He's gone to the finals once
Yep.
and lost. You know, he doesn't really have that championship pedigree yet, so to speak. So I think the Lakers might have pulled a little bit of an upper hand in that situation. And they say, well, you know, you got to prove to us first before we're willing to really give in to all your stipulations.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, or
NBA related?
anything? Any kind of debate?
Healthy or unhealthy?
Either or.
Speaking of healthy or unhealthy, I just want to know, what do you guys think about Zion? Just in general, give me your thoughts.
All right, I'll start, I guess. So Zion, obviously the potential was there for all-star status type player, potential generational talent. As far as staying on the court, he hasn't done that yet to prove that he is that level of player. We've seen the flashes. We've seen the numbers when he does play. We don't see him showing up and proving that he is a consistent type of player. So that's the only qualm I have. He's still young. He could change that. It's a matter of his dedication, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really is. You know, when he gets on the court, he's playing well. But you know, like you said, it's for him, it's a struggle to stay on the court consistently. So I would like to see him try a little harder to make those leaps. You know, but he's on New Orleans. Who wants to get on the court for them?
I read somewhere that there's a lot of stipulations in his contract for reaching certain amounts of games played. That will obviously continue in the future. His contract will be based on games played and not just regular salary that most NBA players get because they are trusted more than him. If I'm any kind of organization, I wouldn't want to pay him anything close to the max. I would give him maybe 20, 30 a year. Or if you want to go the max route, you really have to stipulate how many games he's playing to reach that number. And maybe like all-star appearance or type thing, like playoff appearance, all that. Yeah, that's what I would do if I was the Pelicans. And I would definitely be shopping him on the market.
I'm pretty sure they
I
are.
bet. Yeah. Imagine a team on that kind of talent. But like you said, there's just so much going on that it's kind of hard.
It depends on the team when you think about it. Like, some teams can afford to take risks like that. Others already have their core in place and their plans in roll. So it's not necessarily every team's decision to say yes to that.
I wish it was like 2K where you could turn injuries off and you could see like
Yeah.
maybe a LaMelo Zion pairing, because I feel like that would be elite. Like LaMelo's passing with Zion's leaping. Could you imagine?
That would be great, honestly. Did well.
And then you got LiAngelo in the background doing his rapping.
Some of the best music.
Did you see him at the I don't know if you watched the All-Star festivities, but he actually was on the court doing his swerve and bend that corner in front of the cheerleaders.
All right, he's carving his own path. Let him do it.
Yeah.
He should be the NBA on some team.
That boy's special.
He's special in many ways.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's gonna last for him though.
No.
He already got paid from Def Jam. That's all he wants.
He just wants a
Now he has
paycheck.
determination.
Yeah, he wants a paycheck. Why wouldn't he?
I'm curious, what is your guys' thoughts on where the New York Knicks are at and how deep in these playoffs that they can go?
All right, I'll start this one. The New York Knicks are the most fraudulent contenders. Contenders because they are a top 3 seed and they have the makings of some kind of team. They have some good pieces. They don't have a guy. They have a couple guys that don't really add up to what you call a Megatron. That is Jokic or any kind of SGA type player. I don't even think they could beat the Spurs if they end up somehow matching them, even though that won't happen. But what I think is they will get to at the most round 2, and that's what I'm sticking with. And here's release.
All right. So a lot of that was biased takes, coming from a sorry Sixers fan, whose team has gone completely underwhelming. They've had the worst offseason, but on to the Knicks. On to the Knicks. So obviously we have 2 bona fide all-stars, so go-to guys. We got 2 of them. We got a supporting cast, one of the best starting lineups in basketball right now. Offensively, check the stats, the ratings. They're up there, top 5. Now,
How's your defense?
Their defense has taken a step back from previous years, but they are not at the lowest level. They're kind of in the middle of the pack. Usually that tends to lead to decent playoff runs. We look at the Denver Nuggets that as an example of that. We look at some other teams like the Warriors who've done that.
They were a top 5 defense.
Not every single season. Now, we've seen, obviously, Towns and Brunson be the low points of the defense. They have some core defenders there. With Mitchell Robinson back and Anunoby back, you will see an increase on defense as well. So, as far as my take on how far they could go, it all depends on health. So, if they're able to stay healthy throughout the playoffs, they could make a finals run, given the circumstances. And clearly they could beat the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs could barely even stay afloat in their own conference. Your take's up.
So, I like the addition of Karl Anthony Towns. I think he really bolsters up that starting 5. And I haven't been watching them that often this season, so that's why I wanted to get your guys' takes. But I just feel like everyone seems to think that they're not strong enough. When I see the starting 5, I think they have amazing players. And when I look at the bench, I think the bench is okay. But why do people have their doubts about this team, the Knicks? Like when you got Jalen Brunson, you got Karl Anthony Towns, you got Mikal Bridges. Is Mikal Bridges still on the Knicks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you see these players, why do you think that they can't go to in these playoffs?
Because I don't know. Do you want me to rebuttal that?
Yeah.
Because they do not have any sort of defensive presence. They have perimeter defense, but in order to have good perimeter defense, you have to have good rim protection. You do not have many good rim
Mitchell
protection.
Robinson. He's been out
He's
all
not
season.
healthy.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
He is not
Rebuttal.
healthy. And also, you say middle of the pack. The Knicks are the 18th defensive rating team in
That's
the
middle of the
NBA
pack.
right now.
Yep,
That
middle of
is
the pack.
below middle of the pack.
That's middle.
That is below middle.
No, not rebuttal.
No,
rebuttal.
I'm still going. I'm still going.
18 is not lower. That's middle of the pack.
How do you have good defense without a rim protection in the middle?
All right. So he's treating 18 like it's bottom half of the league, which it is. But
is bottom half.
Yeah, it is. But you're acting like bottom half of the league means even the 16th best is a bad defense, which is not true because overall that is still above most teams. But why are we talking about their rim protection when they're getting their rim protector back? No comment on that? He's coming back.
He's coming back for a short amount of time. He's not in basketball shape right now. You don't know what he's gonna look like. You don't know who he's gonna play with. Can he play alongside Cat? I'm still going. Give me the mic.
It's a debate.
Can he play alongside Cat with his non-shooting ability? They're gonna have to defend him a lot more. Stop grabbing the mic from me. Yeah, I think Robinson is probably gonna come off the bench and not play as much.
All right. Can
No,
we get
I'm
some
still
facts?
I'm still going. He will not play more than 15 minutes in the playoffs because he cannot stay healthy. He is not in basketball shape right now. He ruins their spacing. He ruins their chemistry that they have going on. Here you go.
All right. So, not in basketball shape yet. He's looking pretty thin, actually. So, weird that you would say that without even seeing him. Now, also, the fact that you're saying he's only going to play 15 minutes is kind of false. Now, what I have to rebuttal with that is, will he start every game? I'm not sure about that. Will he even start? I'm not sure about that. What I could say is, Thibodeau is going to have more room for mixing and matching lineups in case there's two bigs. He could put in Robinson and Towns, especially to help that defense that you so claim is bad. Now, if it's a smaller lineup, you have him off the bench
So,
and
realistically-
substituting. So teams like the Cavs, you could start both.
You're not facing
Towns
the
and
Cavs till the
Robinson.
third round.
We don't know that.
You're facing the Celtics if you make it past round one.
We don't know the final standings yet. But that's my rebuttal. You cannot just downplay Mitchell Robinson just because he hasn't played yet and that you think he's going to get hurt again because you don't know what's going to happen.
I'll let you go, Clamps.
I like that. No, that's a very good end to that question about the Knicks. And I actually have one question for you. What direction do you see these Sixers going? What would you like to see their next steps in the offseason?
When I look into the Sixers' future, I see space, I see the moon, and I see a flag. You've got to capture that flag. Bring it home. The tank is on.
Is
Would
that
you like to see Embiid gone?
Um, I definitely think they should explore that. There's talks about him getting surgery and possibly fixing the problem, but I don't see that happening. Released wants to chime in.
We apologize for the background noise if everyone hears that, but basically the Sixers' next steps should be retooling, in my opinion. This experiment of the process has been a failure. Their signings have been a failure, George. And these other guys, maybe minus Yabusele, is decently surprising. Obviously, they traded some of the guys that they signed, like Caleb Martin, for example, Reggie Jackson, for example. These are guys that they just signed. I would say the fact if you're going to think that you're going to get Cooper Flagg in the lottery, you're not going to win the lottery, so don't put all your faith in that. I would also say, as an experienced Knicks fan who has gone through those same problems throughout the years, that's not always the best way to go because the draft is not always fair to everyone, especially big-name teams like the Knicks. And honestly, Embiid at this point, is he even tradable, to be honest with you? Because
Yes.
who is going to want that
Yes.
walking injury on their team where he's getting a full max deal?
He's such an interesting player. Like, exactly. The ceiling of how good he actually is, and not being worth very much, and not having teams want to take him on. That's such a weird thing. It's so strange because he could start on any team.
Yeah, I mean, as much as as a GM, I wouldn't trade for him. I still think there's GMs out there that just want ticket sales, that really don't watch basketball or don't know what's going on. They just care about money. I think there's some out there that will like Embiid on their team just to bring in more fans.
Yeah, but that's a bad investment. It's not bringing in that much fans because people gave up.
You
on
saw it happen in Dallas. Bad investment.
All right, Davis actually had a good track record the last 2 years.
Embiid MVP. Davis 0 MVPs
Champ.
under LeBron.
Champ.
Under LeBron.
Champ. Embiid's done nothing in the playoffs. Answer that.
I mean, do you think GMs care about playoffs, or do they
Absolutely.
care about money?
More
Or
playoffs
not
equal-
GMs,
more
owners.
owners. Yeah.
care about money.
Yeah, more playoffs equals more revenue.
They don't look at.
Owners care about money first, but they also really care about playoffs too, because that is money.
Yeah, and Embiid will get them to the playoffs, but
Oh, will he?
you could say that. Please trade for him. Get him off my team. Get him out of here.
You're just trying to find it out at this point.
Yep.
No.
But yeah, I think that's their best move. I do think there's going to be some front office firings. I think
Yeah.
some interesting news will leak that maybe the Sixers do not have a good front office. I mean, everyone knew that, but I think there's going to be some interesting news that come out, and it's going to shock everyone
Not really.
about mistreatment with organization and maybe health.
Yeah,
I
they
think
definitely had some problems with the health stuff.
yeah.
Wow, that sounds juicy.
Yeah, you'll see that in the offseason, I guarantee it.
I think Morey's done in Philadelphia.
I mean, all the writings are on the wall. He didn't accomplish his goals. As a manager, you look at your goals. Did you accomplish them? No. You get rid of the people that messed up.
Agreed.
Definitely. Sometimes the GMs or the coaches, they just got to take the fall because injuries. Sometimes injuries stack up. They can't use the lineup that they were anticipating, and they just got to take the fall. Get a new guy in there, get a fresh new look.
Yeah, but you saw it with like the Magic, how Banchero and Wagner went down. The coach kept them in it. They played their role players and they maximized everyone and they kept the team afloat.
They also have one of the best defenses, though.
Interesting you say best defense.
I'm saying Philly has absolute crap. What do you even have?
Good point. We really have no culture or like any kind of building blocks to stay consistent.
Yeah. I
I didn't
mean,
know what to say though. Shout out Iris Maxey. All right, shout out.
Yeah, you got to shout out Maxi for sticking through it and being the only playable player besides Oubre, maybe, and Yabusele. Those three are like consistent
they
playing.
have something to prove too. Those guys, though.
Maxi just got his contract.
Yeah, but people still doubt his ability to lead a team. So he has something to prove out there. He's young.
Yep. Question for you, Clamps, regarding team building, possibly like NBA fantasy building. Where would you draft Embiid in next fantasy for ESPN? Which round?
You know, I'm gonna put him in the same category as Zion, so never taking him again. That's but, you know, it's so stupid because you don't know if he's gonna end up playing half the games. So then if he only plays half of the games, you know, you're not drafting this guy until later because he's only gonna get you half the points.
What if there's 2 IR slots?
I'll tell you this for sure. I'm not taking him above the 5th or 6th round. That's for sure. I'm definitely taking him as one of my first util. I don't like dealing with injured players. I've been dealing with Zion all season. It's been hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth the risk.
It really is not worth the risk. If he's sitting there in the 7th, 8th round and you already got a good starting core, yeah, why not pull the trigger on him? But you know, if you're drafting a little weird the first couple rounds and you need some solid picks that are not going to be injured in those later rounds, I would stay so far away from that guy.
Follow-up question. You have 3 players to pick from, and you must choose one in fantasy. Anthony Davis, Zion Williamson, or Joel Embiid?
Anthony Davis.
But
Anthony Davis, yeah. Sam.
But he just got hurt.
Yeah, but he has made a lot more games this season.
And last season.
Last season, he actually wants to be on the court and doesn't have an injury that he's, you know, potentially about to re-aggravate every game.
Isn't it Zion's contract year coming up?
I believe so.
It probably is. This man stepped into a game randomly the other day and was just going lights out. He played a back-to-back where he probably wasn't going to play the second leg of back-to-back, and he just made up for it in that first game. He had like 80 fantasy points.
Yeah, the potential's there for Zion. It's just the problem of, like I said, staying on the court. So drafting him is a risk.
If you take Embiid high, you need to draft very well. You need all of your other high picks to be consistent hitters.
Yeah. I say no sooner than like the 6th or 7th round for him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I have to agree. Even though there's 2 IR slots, you can't just like throw them out.
You still have to deal with, like, what if there's other players injured too and he's still hurt too? That's still
Exactly.
negative. You got to fill up that spot.
Yep. Do you want to end it there? And
Yeah, I think we had some good discussions.
Yeah, I got nothing left. So, anything from you guys?
it was a pretty good debate. We had a couple debates. Lots of good content in there.
Heavy topics.
Some new topics that I haven't seen. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, especially the no trade one.
Yep. Any final thoughts, Clamps? Anything you want to say?
Say, keep going, Trey Murphy. You're a bucket.
Walking bucket. All right, so thank you for calling in and chatting with us and debating.
Yep. Thank you, Clamps.
Anytime. You take care.
All right, you too.
All right, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and comment for the algorithms.
Peace.